Hi, welcome to another episode of Rebel Reviews. My name's Zoe, I'm a master trainer, and this is Anushka, and we're going to be covering all things sleep.
So we've been testing out some sleep products. We both tested out some patches, and then I tested out some tablets, and you tested out some gummies. Yeah, we just thought we'd try them out and see if that helped us sleep better.
So starting off with the patches, mine were Patch ND patches.
And mine were patches by Snowden.
So what did you think of the patches that you tried?
So I really enjoyed my experience with patches. I have to say, I normally have a really good sleep routine, so I don't tend to struggle with sleep. However, when I'm doing shifts and coming back from night shifts or travelling, I sometimes find that getting back into a pattern is really tricky.
Yeah.
So I liked the idea that I could just put something on my arm. It didn't feel like I'd taken anything or changed anything about my normal routine. And then I just drifted off to sleep as normal, waking up feeling energised, not drowsy. I really liked it.
Nice.
So what did you think about the patches?
So I didn't have a great experience with my patches. Obviously this could all just be a coincidence, but referring to my Whoop, which I wear, which tracks my sleep data, and as far as I know, it's a really accurate way of tracking sleep and recovery data. Usually my sleep is really good, my recovery is really high, always in the green, unless my two young babies keep me up at night, in which case it sometimes drops to the yellow. But on the 3 consecutive nights that I was wearing the patch, I dropped into a red recovery despite having a good amount of sleep. So that was really surprising. I can't entirely blame the patches. I might have been fighting an illness that I wasn't sure of, aware of even. But yeah, for me to usually move into the red would be a really low amount of sleep or alcohol, so I was quite surprised to see that. And it put me off trying them a 4th night in a row because I didn't want to risk it doing the same thing. But from the ingredients list, I'm not sure what may have caused that. But yeah, they weren't for me. My body wasn't agreeing with them, I don't think. So that was a bit of a shame.
I think you've raised something really interesting there as well. You know how you might try a product, like you might try a protein shake or a pre-workout, and you'll happily try it week on week on week and just see and give it a chance. Sleep is something that you're just not willing to compromise on, and you can't afford to risk it. So if on the first 2 or 3 days it's just not working, the likelihood of you giving it another chance is just so low. So where did you actually put the patch on your body?
Well, mine on the packet it said to avoid any overly hairy areas. So I used my hip. I think it said hip or back or wherever you can find. But yeah, I found that fine. It didn't irritate me at all. In fact, I forgot it was there the next day. Came off relatively easy. It wasn't painful or anything. So yeah, it didn't come off too easy and wasn't horrendous to get off. So that bit was good. What about yours?
I put mine on my arm. So I started off putting it on my tummy for some bizarre reason, and then I noticed it and I could feel it, so I thought this is really weird. So I put it on kind of the back of my arm, like you said, and actually you don't notice it, you don't feel it, and and I agree with you, mine was pretty sticky but wasn't painful to remove, didn't come off in the night.
So given your experience, I know you said you might use them in the future, would you buy them, do you think?
I think I would. I think night shifts and travel aren't really going anywhere. I think daily stresses that might impact your sleep aren't going anywhere. So I'd like to just have them in my cupboard, almost like the rest of my vitamins and other medications that I might need when I'm unwell. But probably only so that they're there maybe in case, and use them on an ad hoc basis when I need them. What about you?
Yeah, I'm going to say no. Just from that short experience, which maybe I should try it again, but as you said, sleep is so crucial. I'm just not really wanting to. So for me, they wouldn't be a purchase. Up next, I tested the Yummy Bedtime 5-HTP gummies.
And I tested the Sleep Deep supplements.
How did you find those?
So I didn't mind them. I preferred the patches over the supplements for the reasons that I said, being able to stick something on your skin as opposed to take something in. And I don't love swallowing pills in general, and these were quite big, so they're quite uncomfortable. So you have to follow it with something to kind of help move it down, which I found quite uncomfortable, especially when you're taking it late at night. But the ingredient profile for the supplements I took was really lovely. So it included your electrolytes like magnesium, which is a great thing for sleep, and glycine, which is really well proven to help sleep, as well as this 5-HTP, which is, this precursor of serotonin that seems to be in almost all of the sleep products we've been talking about today. What about you?
Again, referring to my Whoop data, there was no change with those. So yeah, there wasn't any seemingly positive impact on my sleep, but equally nothing negative. The thing I found is that the gummies were quite sweet, and it said to take it 30 minutes before bed, which I didn't really enjoy, having like a wine gum just before bed. It was also full of sugar. So the main ingredient was glucose syrup, which again didn't sit that well with me when I was taking it just before bedtime. But it didn't seem to have a negative effect. However, yeah, I wouldn't be in a rush to keep taking them because it didn't really do anything.
Would you buy these gummies then?
No, I don't think so. I think, again, if my sleep started to struggle, I'd look at having some form of supplement or sleep aid in my cupboard just to help out, but I'm not sure a sugary gummy would be my personal choice. I didn't enjoy taking it at late time, and the ingredient list didn't sit that well with me, so probably not on those ones. What about your supplements?
I thought they did something to my sleep, but out of the two, in terms of the patches or the supplements, I preferred the usability of a patch. I just thought it felt a bit more low maintenance, didn't feel like I was incorporating anything really different into my routine.
Yeah.
And
did you have them by your bed?
No, I had them downstairs. The patches you have to apply 2 hours before you sleep. The supplements you only need to take an hour before. So I guess the other thing you could argue is that if you really need to sleep now, then the patches probably aren't the best option. Well, the ones that I tried, and the supplements would be better because they work quicker.
Yeah.
But I guess, if you're planning to sleep for several hours, then applying it even 15 minutes before you go to bed, in theory, should be helpful. But yeah, I preferred the patches.
Okay, so we've tried out a few products here, some good, some not as effective, but ultimately I strongly feel that the natural way is the best way. I think my biggest recommendation would be, if you've got good sleep, don't change a thing. Don't try and add or remove anything if you're already sleeping really well. But if you are struggling with sleep, 3 of the fundamental things are making sure it's cold, dark and quiet. So just some really simple ones, treating yourself some blackout blinds, maybe turning off the heating even though it's feeling a bit chilly, and obviously doing whatever you can to make your environment nice and quiet. What would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really interesting temperature. I always feel cozier when it's warm, but it's more effective to sleep in cooler weather where you're needing your blankets more than you're not. The other thing is, I think a big one that affects us all is screen time.
Yeah.
So of course, looking at a bright screen essentially is telling the body not to make any of your natural melatonin, and it stimulates something called the pineal gland in your brain. So the minute that your eyes see more darkness, more melatonin is produced by the pineal gland, and you're more likely to feel rested. And I'm definitely a culprit of this. I'll scroll on my phone, I'll watch TV, I don't really read too much before bed anymore. So all of those sorts of things can really disrupt sleep. And I find that the days where I actually put my phone away for an hour and a half before I go to sleep, those are the times where I fall asleep more quickly and have a more effective sleep. So doing that is really important, making sure you've got a bit of a routine that doesn't involve a bright light or a bright screen.
Yeah. Even just taking the simple step to remove the blue light from your phone. There is a setting where you can turn it off from a certain time. Do you do that?
Yeah, I've seen that.
It looks a bit yellow. It looks a bit gross, but you shouldn't be looking at it anyway. So if you are going to pick it up, you can set a timer. So I have mine, I think, on from a little while after I've woken up, and then ages before I go to bed. So if I do pick up my phone, that blue light has been removed. Thanks for watching, thanks for joining us, and thank you to Anushka for joining in the conversation with her expert knowledge. We will link all the products below, and we'll see you soon.